We're not anti-coffeist. Hello everybody and welcome to the Filipino Freethinkers podcast that's also a video. I'm Red.
Dante.
And we're talking about Madonna and her recent concert and something she did during the concert which was controversial. I'm talking about wearing the flag.
As a costume.
As a costume. And what were the offenses? Like, what was she being criticized for?
For wearing it as a costume, being a part of an entertainment event, I suppose, and having it like drag on the floor, which is like a sign of disrespect towards the flag.
So one organization apparently decides what's okay and not okay to do regarding the flag, regarding other nationalistic stuff like the national anthem.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
The National Historical Commission?
NHCP?
Yes.
National Historical Commission on the Philippines. And it's a Republic Act
8491
that details all of this. Here's a link to the text if you're interested in what else you can and cannot do with the
fine print.
Yeah, I wonder what is it about the situation now, because it's not only Madonna that got flack.
Yeah, not recently anyway.
Yeah, there was that case of the kid who used the flag as a mop in his classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the other case.
The general, the official.
The retired
general.
General who became running for office or already vice mayor.
Vice mayor, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Who wrote
on tape. Who wrote
important distinction.
Tape, yeah. Wrote on masking tape, which is on the flag.
Yeah,
technically putting tape on the flag is an offense.
It's already an offense, so it's a double offense.
Yeah, and then start writing on it. That's
on it. So many things that you can and cannot do with the flag, and we will talk about whether that's wrong or not. Let's get back to the Madonna concert first. Were you there?
No, I was not, but I had friends there.
You had friends there, and I'm sure it was a pretty fun concert, despite it being late and Madonna being the diva that she is.
So I hear.
I'm sure they still had a blast.
They did actually. So much fun.
And people were like, one of our friends, she was complaining about someone telling her not to dance during the concert, right? To behave herself.
Yeah, but how can you do that? That's it's a Madonna event.
And to each his own, right? I mean, maybe some people would like to pray during the concert. I don't know. But maybe they were offended by the behavior of some people in the audience.
It's possible.
I'm wondering about the reaction of the crowd when Madonna came out wearing the flag of the Philippines.
I'm sure there were people reacting.
Really? Yeah, they knew that it was a violation of certain regulations.
Actually, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah,
it's possible that they did. It's no secret that Madonna likes scandal and she likes doing things that are controversial.
Really, Madonna likes scandal?
No,
because she pulled the same stunt in Taiwan, I think, or the country that she was in previously. I think it's a part of her tour.
Yeah, it is rebel heart after all. I mean, the whole point is to be rebellious, I suppose, to be controversial. So
the press release is that she's doing this to show her love for the countries that she's visiting.
I suppose that flies in a way, but no, we have a specific law in the same way that you don't flout laws when you go to different countries.
So you're saying that she should have done due diligence and found out whether that was illegal or not, before she pulled the stunt.
If not her, then at least the organizers, who I'm sure some of them are from here, who would at least be aware, be like, hey, you can't do that.
Okay.
Because it's still the law of the land. However, whatever your feelings about the flag may be, there's an actual law. There's RA 8491.
Yeah, so you're, like, especially for a non-Filipino citizen to do this, it would be a different thing if it were a Filipino to do it.
Which is
the case with the retired
official,
general turned vice mayor, and also the student mopping the floor with a flag. So let's talk about it, because things can be wrong in certain different senses.
Yes.
Like the things about the flag, like they're certainly wrong because it's prohibited, like malum prohibitum or something like that.
Yes.
And then there's the other case, malum it's wrong in itself. Because it's maybe ethically wrong or morally wrong.
Right.
Now, the things done about the flag, which of the two are these? Are they wrong just because the law prohibits them, or are they wrong also because they do some harm in some sense?
I would like to think it's both. I mean, the law is already in place.
Okay.
So it's been there since 1998.
Only 1998. We are not sure
Yeah,
about
we're not
this
entirely
yet, right?
sure.
Yeah.
There must have been provisions for that before, but it was refined in 1998. The law that we're following now is from 1998.
Okay.
As for the other side of things, I mean, you're talking about a country's identity, our country's identity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if I were to look at it from an outsider's point of view,
Okay.
I wouldn't want to deface some country's flag. I mean, this is their identity. This is, in a way, who they are. It's their logo. It's their standard. It's
Okay. Although defacing the flag, like I mean, that is by definition of the NHCP what Madonna did by wearing
yes,
it.
pretty much.
But by other people's standards, like maybe she was showing love for something that she actually loved. Like if you wear like a logo of like a T-shirt of Madonna, you're not defacing Madonna with
This
your
is
face
true.
on you know. And maybe by some people's logic, wearing the flag is not showing disrespect for it. The reverse, actually, you show that you love what you're wearing. You love what it stands for.
True.
And maybe that's her way of saying, I love the Philippines. I'm wearing your flag. I'm not ashamed of it.
It's possible,
Right?
yeah.
So there are clear ways of defacing the flag. Like maybe what the kid did was clearly defacing.
Yes, of course.
Like using the flag as a mop.
True,
Now,
yeah.
now we can talk about that. Yeah, and you think that it's also wrong for people to deface it in certain ways.
But definitely. I mean, we've gone over it several times. The
Okay.
fact that there are direct provisions. I mean, it specifically says you cannot use it as a costume or
Yes,
part of a
yes.
costume.
So it's wrong in the legal sense
Yes,
because there are laws
definitely.
written about it. But not all laws are correct or ethical or moral. Like I'm remembering now the provision that got Carlos Celdran thrown in jail.
Yeah.
The offending religious feelings
True.
clause. That's a very old law, Spanish era, and archaic, and should be removed. We hope that in the revised penal code, in the new revision, it won't be there anymore. Like because it's offending religious feelings, such a vague,
It's open to a lot
unenforceable-
of interpretation.
yeah, open to interpretation, and we think that it should be removed and it should be corrected. So not just because it's written in the law does not mean it's also wrong. It's also immoral
True.
or unethical.
True.
Now let's get to the ethics of that. Like let's say somebody burns the flag because he thinks that the leaders of the country no longer represent what our revolutionaries intended for it, like the kinds of freedoms.
True.
So, do you think that would be immoral or unethical in the same way?
I think one of the biggest conflicts here would be Manny Pacquiao and how the Philippine flag features in some of his outfits. That's technically against the law.
And I imagine, or is it something in my memory? Like my memory is playing tricks on me. Like I remember an image of Manny Pacquiao with the flag draped on him. Like
No, I remember that image too. Yeah.
So-
there are promotional materials.
yeah. So
That
did
have
he
it.
get like the authorization from
That's
the
what I'd like to
NHCP?
know. If there is indeed an authorizing body, and there's a heraldry section of the NHCP, but I'm not sure if they grant like permission that in special cases you can use the flag for this, this, and this, because technically the law says you can't use it for any promotional materials either. So
Can you use it as a whip?
that very specific provision, you may not use the Philippine flag as a staff or a whip.
Oh, gosh darn! Like what if an invader comes into your house and you
you're
don't have a frying pan at hand, and
Yes.
the only weapon that you have is a Philippine
Philippine
flag.
flag.
You can't even use it as a whip. Like
Well-
why is it even there?
Well, that's a very good question. You can't even have it in your home, I think.
Maybe you can play the national anthem, and the criminal is forced to
stand
at
attention.
attention, and you can make your escape because he's more patriotic than you are. I don't know, but let's put things in context.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it's a 1998 Republic Act.
Yes.
I mean, I'm wondering if before then, like people were getting away with so many things, like
It's
singing the
possible.
national anthem in the wrong way. I remember there are cases where was it Joey Ayala or some
I
other
think it was.
folks singer who tried to correct the way that the Philippine national anthem was sung, and then he got flack from the NHCP about that. Or
Okay.
there was like a singer in one of Pacquiao's fights or one sporting event who sang the national anthem in a different way, adding vibrato here and there, changing the way it was sang. Or
Right. That actually goes back again to RA 8491 because of they also have specific rules about that, about the national anthem,
Yeah.
about the the musicality of it.
Okay.
You can't. There's very little room actually to interpret it. You just have to do it this very specific way. Otherwise, you're potentially in violation of.
In the U.S., it's explicitly stated that you can deface.
Yes, I believe so.
It's called the flag defacement or flag burning law or something like that.
Okay.
So what the law says is the government cannot place bans on defacing the flag in any way. And it's a constitutionally protected speech, a symbolic speech.
Right.
In the way that I mentioned earlier. So if you hate your country, if you hate the government for the way that it's being run or the way the government's running your country, you can't protest. And one of the ways that you can't protest is by burning the flag.
Right.
And several times, I think up to like as late as 2006. That's the latest that I read. I'm not sure if there are newer ones.
Okay.
But certain officials or politicians have been trying to remove the ban on banning flag burning. Okay.
Yeah.
Remove amend the law so that it's illegal to burn or deface flags in any way. And they've failed again and again. Like the Supreme Court has ruled that freedom of speech trumps like the rights of national symbols or people to not witness national symbols being defaced in certain ways.
Okay.
And the principle of freedom of speech as defended by the Supreme Court in these rulings, like explicitly say that freedom of speech is for speech that you don't agree with. It's for speech that really touches on the emotions.
Okay.
So if you have a very strong nationalistic sentiment and you're offended by someone defacing the flag, then that's the kind of speech that you do, that you use for tests of freedom of speech. It's not for the non-controversial things said.
Right.
It's particular freedom of speech is for speech you disagree with. So that's what the Supreme Court in the U.S. has been saying. And out of all the jurisprudence that we base on the United States, I'm wondering why we didn't get that. That's one of the things that wasn't carried over. Like there's no equivalent to that because even now we do have this RA
841.
Yeah.
I think it says something about the way we venerate symbols here in our culture. We're very particular about respect, about being deferential. So while we espouse freedom of speech and the like, we have that strong undercurrent of no, you must not be disrespectful of certain institutions, authority, and the government is one such authority. And it seems to fly in the face of our culture to open that door. You feel free to disrespect things as you like because you're free to do that. When actually there's a very strong sense of what some would call it repression, some would say discipline, some would call it tradition. And we do our best to try to be progressive in a way, but we're always held back. But we're getting there. At least we're talking about it now. I mean, we couldn't before, but now we can.
Now we can. And it brings us to something that happened recently. It's February. No, it's
March 1.
It's March 1. So
at the time of this shoot, it is March 1.
We just celebrated the 30th anniversary
of EDSA.
Yay! And it's we're celebrating the toppling of a dictator.
Yes.
We are celebrating freedoms, particularly freedom of speech.
Yes.
Because if Marcos did one thing, it's censor people, kill people.
Censor is kind of mild.
Let's put it lightly. The ultimate way to censor someone is to kill them, and he killed a lot of people, particularly people who criticized him.
Very true.
And the danger to me of these sentiments, you cannot criticize the Philippines, you cannot criticize the government, you cannot criticize the Philippine flag. It plays into that kind of mentality.
It kind of does.
You cannot fight against the government. And when you do this kind of thing, the government so weak that when you burn the flag or deface it in any way, it weakens that institution. Can one individual, when they use the flag as a mop, threaten the fabric of the Philippine government? Is it that weak?
I would like to think it's not.
Yeah, I mean, they have all the guns. They have all the authority. They have the jets. They have the AK-47s. Do you have AK-47s?
I am not sure about our military assets.
Maybe MP5s. The counter-terrorist guns are probably the ones that we use. But anyway, it should be. I mean, the reason for the right to have arms, to hold arms, so that you can potentially revolt against the government. You know, those like when there are laws like this, it makes it hard for dissenters to dissent. You know, and the government, I think, is being too sensitive or too scared of its citizens when it doesn't allow expressions of speech like this to happen. Right? And I mean, who's really hurt when somebody defaces a flag? Who's really hurt? During the Madonna concert, when she wore it, did anyone really enjoy the concert any less? Like, you know, like, oh, I was having a blast until Madonna wore the Philippine flag, and then the whole experience was ruined for me. I'm never listening to a track of hers. Do you think that realistically happened?
I doubt it.
I
doubt that it happened that
I mean,
way.
did anyone even know that Madonna was committing a crime? Right? Because technically she was, right?
By our laws,
By our laws.
technically.
So fortunately, we have an extradition treaty with the United States. So should the Philippine government tell, you know, hey Obama, hey Donald Trump, if it's, you know, several.
If it takes that long.
hey Donald, who's talking? Duterte, who's the president in this role play?
It could be anyone at this
It could
point.
be anyone. You have a citizen who committed a gross crime. Can you extradite her to the Philippines so that she can be tried and she be charged with defacing the flag, thrown in jail for
Maximum of 1 year.
maximum of 1 year, and charged
At minimum of 5,000 pesos, no more than 20,000.
20,000 pesos? Can Madonna pay that? But, you know, like, if it were murder, you know, if it were Pemberton, you know, by all means, Pemberton committed like an obvious crime, and he should pay for it.
Right.
Should Madonna pay for the crime of wearing a Philippine flag? You know, it should be commensurate to, you know, the punishment should be commensurate to the crime.
Right.
There are many worse things that someone can be thrown in jail for 1 year or 20,000 pesos. I mean, that kid who used
The flag as a mop.
the flag as a mop. Like, I don't know, like, he was suspended, right?
He was expelled, I believe.
He was expelled. That's on his record now.
Yes.
You cannot remove that, right? And it could, you know, on the positive side, it could make him change his ways and be more respectful of authority, you know, so that he can get a nice, secure job when he graduates. Or he could take that to heart. I am the rebel, you know.
He has a rebel heart.
He has a rebel heart. I'm gonna do drugs now. You know, I'm exaggerating here, but that's also a possibility. It's gonna affect his educational record, and it will necessarily affect his chances of getting into good schools, you know, and therefore getting good jobs. You know, it can affect his career. And imagine if he were even thrown in jail. I mean,
That would be even worse.
That would be even worse, right? So this law, do you think it's? I mean, it's one thing to think that it's wrong because it offends patriotic sensibilities. But do you think the law as it's written is fair?
I think it needs to be revisited and reevaluated. I don't know when our government will have the time, since it drags its feet on everything.
Yeah.
But it should be reassessed at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, freedom of speech, I believe, should really trump a lot of these offendedness. You know, that offendedness mentality. You know, I think we are taking for granted that we have freedom of speech, that we enjoy freedom of speech. You go to other countries and there's so many things that you cannot say. You cannot criticize the government. You cannot criticize religion. You cannot be part of other belief systems because there are only, for example, in Indonesia, 6 that you can join.
And then that's it.
I mean, if you don't join one of those, you will have less rights, essentially, right? So we enjoy so many freedom of speech being one of them. And I think that this happened, the Madonna and all of the other flag incidents happened near the February 25th celebration of the People Power rally.
Yes.
I think it's a challenge to us.
It is.
You know?
It is.
Like, a lot of things have not changed. I mean, the government is still corrupt. There are still so many poor and suffering people because of many systemic problems. But one thing we can ask is, what's our attitude towards freedom of speech? What's our attitude towards freedom? Thank you for watching this episode. If you have comments, if you have something to say or ask, do let us know. Please like, share, and subscribe. We will have a meetup about this and so many other topics. The invite is on our website and social media channels. On behalf of Dante and the Analyst Desk, see you next time.